Hello everyone, it's Talia from Fictional Wanderings, and today I have my November wrap-up for you. I separated the 6 romance books that I read in this month into another wrap-up because the video would be too long and I didn't want to babble on about very chunky literary fiction or fantasy books that I read in the month and get very fangirly over fluffy romances at the same time in that same video. I don't know my reasoning for this, but there are 5 other books that I read outside of the genre of romance, and today I want to share them with you because let me tell you, I had some very good reads. I had 2 3 stars, 2 4 stars, and a 5-star book this month, and I think November was very satisfying as a reading month for me, at least. So the first book I had to read was for my English class, and it was Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam, and this book is in the New York Times bestseller list. It's booming right now. It's kind of like a literary fiction meets kind of sci-fi, kind of thriller, a very genre-bending book, to basically put it, and I gave it 3 stars, and I'll get into that after I tell you the plot. So a medium wage earning family is going to a house in the suburbs, not even the suburbs, like the way rural area away from New York for their holiday, and they're renting this big house from a couple they met online. They don't know this couple at all, and when they get there, things start going wrong. Like, their connection to the outside world kind of severs at one point, and there are some disconnections with their phones and the TV, and it's a very creeping sense of isolation that grows throughout the book. But when they get there, they spend a couple of days in the countryside, and then one night, out of the blue, a black couple knocks on the door saying, "Hey, we were in New York, but there's a blackout and we're too old to take the stairs to our 14th floor apartment, and we needed to come back. This is our home. We're staying with you." And they have no means of contacting anyone. They can't verify their identity. They can't ask anyone outside about what the hell is going on in the big city, but everyone's scared because this is an age where everyone can know everything at the blink of an eye, and being disconnected from the media is so foreboding disaster. But also there's the mistrust, the interracial mistrust, the socioeconomic differences of the couple and the medium wage earning family is kind of discussed. The mother fears for her children, but then the dad is trying to be there for the whole family. Everyone has a very personal character flaw, and I think the author plays at it very successfully by jumping between POVs in the middle of between paragraphs. The POVs might change. You just have to keep following it. That, along with some descriptions that the author uses, really intrigued me. But also, the story stagnated at the point where I expected it to explode, and that was a huge letdown by the end. The building of tension was done very well, but I don't think the payoff was there. So it was overall a very interesting read. I'm glad to have delved into Rumaan Alam's writing, but it was a 3-star read for me. The other 3-star I have on this list was Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I need to learn my lesson. I read Watching You by Lisa Jewell. Did I read it? I might have even DNF'd it. I think I finished it though. I did not like that thriller as well, and this one was just a meh one for me. It's basically the the kidnapping of a young girl and the aftermath of her family falling apart and basically not functioning with that loss in the middle. I think the setup was very interesting, except for the fact that I guessed who did it and how they did it by like chapter 2 or 3, and when I can guess that easily, the payoff is just not there for mystery thrillers for me. Lisa Jewell's writing is okay, I'm fine with it, but I don't think I'm gonna pick up another book from her after this. I'm just gonna dabble in more like different thriller authors for a little bit to introduce some variety into my arsenal. Card was full. Oh my god. I think we're good. Focus on my face. Okay. So basically the ending was predictable, and I did not care that much about the antagonist's motivations, because I don't think the character was built up enough for me to be like, whoa, chills. But it was okay. I got through it. I gave it 3 stars. If you want a thriller to pass the time, you can pick this one up. Moving on to my 4-star. I'm saying 4-star, but the trilogy that this finale is a part of is 5 stars in my heart, and it is Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. The Mistborn trilogy came to an end, and my heart is ripped out of my ribcage and just is pulsing in my hands, and I don't know what to do with it. That's how I felt reading this. I was so attached to these characters that some things that befall the whole world just broke my heart, but also inspired me, but also gave me hope, and I'm always struck by how Brandon Sanderson weaves in small, tiny little details that end up being the carrier of the plot by the end of the story. My mind blown. My mind was blown. I loved it. I think some plot choices made by the end were perfect. My only complaint about this was that some characters did not get the not page time, but like did not get the moment that I was waiting for them to have in the story. But other than that, some of the side characters we're introduced to in the first books become so much more important, and it's just such a clever story, such an epic saga that's in this universe of using metals for fuel for your magical abilities, and this world that is dying because of the mists and the ash that's blocking the sun. It's like, I don't know, the climate apocalypse meets alchemy and crazy like war strategy games, and it's just this is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I can put it up there honestly with Lord of the Rings. I'm saying that now. I might take that back when I do my reread of the Lord of the Rings, but right now my heart beats for Mistborn, and if you haven't picked this trilogy up, pick it up. Sanderson, you can take my breath away. I loved it. Chef's kiss. The 4th book I'm going to talk about is Hablomov by Gonçaro, and I think I have it here. I don't want to have to find the photo, so I read it in Turkish, but here's the big-ass Russian literature piece that I had the privilege of reading this month, and this is a very deep, character-driven story about a guy named Hablomov, who is the master of the land, basically, and he is doing nothing, living off of the peasants that he controls, he owns, basically, and he never did much work throughout his life. So he is the epitome epitome of laziness. And when I tell you that reading about this dude made me want to crawl out of my own skin and do jumping jacks on the side, I'm not kidding. He is so lazy that it's like in 30 pages he can't manage to get out of bed, and I felt so suffocated reading about it at times. But it's like he was taught to be carefree and lazy because he was like, that's what nobility is about. I shouldn't be doing work that's for the lesser people. And he is juxtaposed with his best friend Andre, who is a German man. He is meant to display the opposites of the different cultures, because as a German man he values hard work, wants to work for something meaningful in his life, and he tries to rescue Hablomov from his void of laziness and incompetence, yes, because he can't even write a letter to demand his pay from his peasants, which is the only life source that he has. Like, the guy literally can't do shit, doesn't want to do shit, and is very burdened by the thought of having to do shit. And it was a very interesting experience to read this in quarantine. It definitely made me want to be more productive, because I was like, I'm being Hablomov. This is a phrase, being Hablomov. And I don't want to be Hablomov, you know? If you're into character studies and classics, I think this is a very immaculate read for you. He does have a love interest in this, and it shows his character flaws eating away at that love, and how he approaches that love, and he loses it and then tries to regain it, and then how his life shapes around this way of thinking. I found it to be fascinating and gave it 4 stars. It was long and it was sort of boring to read through some parts, but I generally enjoy the different character studies that go on in classic Russian literature. So Hablomov, if you want to feel guilty for any type of laziness that you show in quarantine, stuck at home. The final book that I read, oh my god, I'm gonna grab it. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsen. Okay, this is a very loved copy. You can't see it, but like the spine is very bent. The pages are basically yellow now because it's my dad's copy, and I think we love Stieg Larsen in this household, because I fell in love with this, gave it 5 stars, and then immediately picked up the second one. I'm reading it right now, and it's basically a Scandinavian crime detective thriller. It's a journalist and this private investigator, which I always enjoy more than reading about like official detectives doing an investigation, if you know what I mean. And I don't know how I went this long without reading this book, because oh my god, it was amazing. I think my love for Scandinavian crime novels kind of kickstarted with Jo Nesbø. Then I was like, oh, this is a classic, I need to read it, and I loved it. We follow, what was the guy's name? Blomquist? The guy. I'm gonna call him the guy because I can't pronounce what I read in this. But he and Salander, who is the girl with the dragon tattoo, they are working together to uncover the mystery behind a girl's disappearance that happened almost 30 years ago. And it digs up so many like dirty family secrets of this very wealthy and extended family, and a very important family in Sweden. And the atmosphere of this small Swedish town is so eerie, so creepy. So all the characters seem to have very dodgy secrets, and I loved every second of this, because the investigators themselves, the girl is so like gritty and interesting and possibly probably on the autism spectrum, but that topic is not fully disclosed in the book. I just love how the author could merge the mystery and the plot with the character study of the investigator and the girl, because more often than not, the reason I don't like detective stories all that much is because the author does either or. Either the mystery is very intriguing but the characters are bland, or the detective type figure has very interesting qualities but the mystery is too simple and or not interesting enough. But I think this is the perfect concoction of the best of both worlds, and if you haven't read it, if you're a sinner like me, just go pick this book up because chef's kiss, 5 stars. Okay, that was it for the non-romance books that I read in the month of November. I'm very happy with all the reads that I did this month, although some of them I was less enthusiastic about, but it's okay. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!